Time to talk about Woodbine for September the 8th. We're going to talk about Friday and that early pick 5 sequence. Remember, the Friday card at Woodbine kicks off at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to dive into the daily racing form past performances. I like to look at the formulator past performances. You can actually get these for free when you sign up for DRF Bets and you wager through DRF Bets. First of all, you'll get 10 of them free right away if you sign up. Use the promo code WINNING and then deposit $250 because they'll give you $250 right back. All of a sudden, boom, your $250 becomes $510 because they give you a $10 free bet just for registering. And they give you 10 of these cards that we're going to look at. A card is one track for that day, formulator past performances. Then every time you bet $50 after that, you get another free past performance. So if you're betting through DRF Bets, you won't have to pay for past performances anymore. Early pick 5 on Friday that starts in race number 2, $50,000 guarantee in this one. Friday has a $50,000 guarantee, and then on Saturday and Sunday, they bump it up to a $100,000 guarantee. Early pick 5 always starts in race number 2. So this opener, 6.5 on the synthetic. I'm going to look to the 7 in here, Samurai Challenge. This horse moved in between horses. The 2-path was a solid 4th in a race where there wasn't that much passing, got some action that day, and should show you that logical second out improvement. I think he's a major player in here. The 6-horse Sparklet is a first-time starter, and this barn has had some pretty good success recently with first-time starters. You can take a look at the database here when you have these DRF formulator past performances. That's one of the really cool features. So you can just go to first-time starters, see how the barn has done recently. Now they've won with 7 of their last 44, and this is over a 5-year period. You want to make it a smaller sample size, you can do that, or you can just look because you'll see the races that are listed by order of date from 2018 all the way up to 2023 right here. And so you'll notice they've actually had some pretty good recent success over the last year and couple months. Since last July, they've won with 3 of 8 first-time starters, and you'll notice they're usually at pretty big prices. One of them was at 7-2, and the other 2 were huge prices, 18-1 and 20-1. So a barn that has shown they're very capable of firing first time out. This horse seems to have shown some ability in the morning. Hernandez jumps aboard. There's no monsters in this field. Nobody scares the heck out of you at all. It's ripe for a first-time starter. It's just sort of a tricky distance in which to debut. 6.5, not easy. You got to be fit. Computer Hackers, probably the horse to beat in here. Tried the turf last time out. It wasn't a bad effort. And the August 13th race was good. This horse is going to wheel back really quickly, though, in just 6 days. But if he repeats the August 13th race, which is sort of what he ran last time out on the turf, but that was against better. He's the measuring stick. He makes somebody have to jump up and beat him. I went 7-6-4. The 1 horse will try to flash some speed from the inside. At a race like this, dropping in class, speed can just go a long way here. So if he were to get out front, he could get very brave in here. Those are the 4 horses and combos that I'd be using. 7-6 is how I stacked them. 7-6-4-1. Race number 3, second leg of the pick 5, mile and a 16th on the synthetic. You have $7,500 claimers in here. The 2 Silent Lucidity. Now, some of these races on Friday are races that were recarded from the canceled day on Monday when it was very hot. So Silent Lucidity was in one of these races, the 2. And in his last start, he was 4th in the race that Mambo in the Forest won. He got pushed out into the 5-path in the first turn, and he settled 5th. He made a big 4-wide move up into contention and then flattened out a little bit. Just don't think he'll have to be as wide in here with this post. He should be able to save a lot more ground and get a totally different trip. I'm going to make Mambo in the Forest prove it to me in this one. He's just 4 for 45 overall. He was 13-1 when he swooped up and won last time out. So I'm going to make him show that he can do that again. The 2's the price play in here for me. The 4 finalist looks like the horse to catch. The 5 Solar should sit a perfect trip in here. Gets back to the synthetic where we've seen him have, really good effort 2 starts back. That race last time out, it wasn't the smoothest trip for him. He was down inside and he just kind of got pushed. He was in between. He wasn't beaten a whole heck of a lot. I think it was maybe a tad better than it would just suggest on paper or the speed figure might suggest. You got the 6 on the big drop in class full extreme. I'm okay trying to beat him here. He doesn't have a whole lot of speed. And I'm not exactly sure how fast they're going to go in here. You can look to the outside. I'm not sure if either one of these horses really wants to push it. Maybe a little bit from the 7. Mambo in the Forest has not been fast recently. He's just has a couple races where he's kind of ended up on the lead. The 8 is not quick. And then down towards the inside, that's why the 4 could be really tough. He could sneak away in here. The 5 Solar has an opportunity to put himself in that really nice striking spot. And same with Silent Lucidity, who hopefully just won't have to go as wide. That's why I'm looking towards those horses in here. I think they'll be more forwardly placed, be able to sit a trip. 2, 4, and 5 for me. Let's take a shot against the 6 horse, hoping he's just a little too far out of it early on. Moving to race number 4, mile and a 16th on the synthetic here. These are $7,500 non-winners of 2. Like the one Rockland Express had a slow first couple steps in that last start and then rushed up from the outside to take the lead. 3 others wanted it, so he couldn't clear off. Just a tough trip. Now he's on the inside. He can save ground here. Kimura jumps aboard and has been aboard him before. Has some upside in a race like this too. 1-3 CR Hotshot feels like the horse to beat. Just trying to figure out where he fits. Broke his maiden for at the $15,000 claiming level. Stepped up to the 14, 15 non-winners of 2. Now in for 75 non-2. Trying to figuring out where he belongs. He faced Bongino last time out, who came back and was a good second. And early on in his career, he ran into some nice ones like Philip My Dear and Kaukokapu. The 7 horses, the other one for me is a little bit of a wild card. Coach Abernathy. So the last 2 races on the turf, can we just eliminate them with some trouble in tougher spots? Got action in those races too. But let's put a line right through them. Let's look at the race back in May, the 15 non-2 on the synthetic. That race would be really competitive in here. And this is at a softer spot. I think he's worth a flyer in your pick 5s. I'll use 1, 3, and 7. Then there's 2 speed horses. I think the 8 and 9 will both end up pushing each other a little bit. Giant 1 with the blinkers on from the outside. He's going to be forwardly placed in here. I don't know how much he wants to really sit off the pace. And then you have Hip to Your Tricks, who's going to be stretching out, going farther for the first time than he's ever been. And he's shown some speed before at shorter distances. I think he'll end up right on the lead. So I have them in the next tier below because I think they may impact each other's chances in here. If 1 or 2 of them were to sneak away, 1 or 2 of them were to scratch, you'd upgrade the other. 1, 3, 7, and then I have 9 and 8 below them. That's race 4 on Friday over at Woodbine. Let's move to race 5. Another race that was carded for Monday that's returned here for Friday. This one's a 6 furlong turf race for maidens. The one Hungry Wolf showed that he can come from out of it at 6 furlongs. That's what I like because I don't think he's fast enough to necessarily get the lead in here. And maybe he is with the inside draw. Normally, you'd feel like a horse like him that's shown the speed going longer and hasn't necessarily been as quick in the sprint races that it might be tough for him here, but he may just be faster than anyone in this field. But what I like about his last race is that it shows some versatility for him. He has some options. He's not a horse who just is one-dimensional and needs the lead. If he's off the pace, he can come and he can close. He was 10th. He was just about 4 lengths off. He tried to move in a wall of traffic. He kept getting stuck behind horses and in a bad spot. It was a really good effort. And they'll probably try to get more aggressive with him today because they won't want to have to come from 10th again. The one Hungry Wolf using all over. The 4 One True Gentleman's the horse to beat. He's going to try the turf for the first time. You can see he's bred beautifully for it. His dam won 3 times on the turf and won in her first turf start, which I like. Tried the synthetic in the debut, then in career start number 2, tries the turf and wins. Just shows you that improvement when you get right on the grass and really a horse that takes to it. Said a couple other sibs. They're lightly raced. It's really tough to get a gauge for how good they were. I mean, Strike Crest ran well on the turf in 4 turf races, no worse than 4th and 3 times hit the board. 1, 4. The 7 GQ ran really well in the debut, sort of deceivingly. Got stuck in a tight spot in between a line of 4 horses and then backed up, ended up losing a couple lengths. Better than it looks on paper. The blinkers come on. Kimura sticks for career start number 2. The dam did win on the turf. And, yeah. Good vibration. Remember this dam working at TVG. It was on when this one ran a few times. Covering the Woodbine races, having fun with the name of Good Vibration. 1, 4, and 7 for me. And then the next 2, if you wanted to go deeper, or this next tier of horses that I don't really have a problem with, I just like others more. That would be the 5 and the 8 who come out of the same race, right? Last Monarch and Field Hockey. Field Hockey should sit a pretty nice trip. I'm not sure how far he wants to go, but he could be in a really good spot. He's going to go second start off the layoff. Then you have Last Monarch on the outside, who had some trouble last time out and has shown multiple dimensions. No problem with either one of them. I'll just use 1, 4, and 7 in here. Let's close out the Friday pick 5 at Woodbine with the number 1, Collect Dat. I think if you toss the last 2, because they're going long on the synthetic, this is a horse who should be really fit, cutting back. Look at the July 2nd race, sprinting on the synthetic. That race would be pretty competitive with this group. It fit really well. I'm using Collect Dat all over. Should have some more punch in here. The 7, Halaga. Overall, the form is really good. This is a mare who hasn't won on the turf, but she was very competitive in her last 2 in turf spots. She'll make the 3rd start of her form cycle. She gets back to the synthetic. She has speed. She's drawn well towards the outside. She can sit off if she has to. I had a tough time leaving her out of any exotics. I feel like a big race is coming from her. Cuts back, so she's just going to have a good little stamina, fitness edge. 1, 7 I'll use all over the place. If you wanted to go deeper, the 2 and the 3 are logical. Both of them will be forwardly placed in here. Hot Cargo. Tough to knock overall. Horse has been in the exacta in 5 of 6. And Cara. I think they'll probably be speed right next to each other. Cara is probably the quicker, and maybe the horse they'll all have to catch. A situation where I'm not sure if she wants to go 6.5. And if Hot Cargo is maybe trying to chase or close up, I'm a little worried about the trip that she'll get. 1, 7, then 3, 2. If you wanted to go a little deeper, there's a look at the Woodbine pick 5 for Friday. $50,000 guarantee starts in race number 2. Remember, you can get daily racing form past performances for free when you sign up for DRF Bets. Use that promo code WINNING. Good luck on Friday over at